Hello, my name is Nusrat Shafiq. Me and my friends Deepan Panchel and Justin Valera are going to talk about standardized testing. What is assessment? Process of gathering data to better understand the strength and weakness of student learning. There are various ways to assess students' outcome. One of them is standardized test. The standardized test is a test that is given to student to a very constant manner, meaning that the questions on the test are all the same. The time given to each student is the same, and the way in which the test is scored is the same for all students. The best example of this is Provincial exam. Since the standardization test is a provincial responsibility and not a federal matter, all provinces handle it differently. In recent years, the provinces of British Columbia, Alberta, and Ontario have not more emphasis on standardization testing, while Saskatchewan is moving away from it. In Saskatchewan, only grade 12 and 12 students have to appear for an exam which calls a provincial examination, and the subjects are English or French language arts, mathematics, chemistry, physics, and biology. These tests count for 40% of a student's final grade in that course. Over to Deepan.
Thank you, Nuzhat. There are three component matters in this test type: content, structure, and the timing. The content is a body of a material and a knowledge found in a test book that students must retain for exam. The type of the question and sequence is called the structure. For example, multiple choice question, true, false, and short questions. The allocation of a time is a major factor and every student is given the same time. According to the research from the University of Lethbridge, the standardization test carries less importance in a class. This test diverse time which can be used to support students to teach a life learning skills. Also, it less emphasis on the subject specific knowledge. The main argument is in a favor of more standardized testing is primarily centered around test scores, as it has been shown some of the provinces such as the PEI move towards more standardization testing. The student score has increased, however, we would like to point out that correction does not necessarily mean causation, and that there are many external factors such as the recent pandemic that could be impacting those scores. Many educators believe that this results to be a result of teaching to the test as opposed to being a clear indication that standardization testing is working. Moreover, it has been shown that there are many negative impacts that can come as a result of placing too large focus on the standardized testing. Justin, over to you.
I'm Justin, and I'll be talking about the impacts that standardized testing has in the classroom, as it has a variety of impacts and effects on students. Among these, one of the most common concerns associated with standardized testing is the unfair amount of pressure and stress that's put on students when the results from these tests have such large implications, such as determining the student's ability to graduate or the amount of funding provided to the school or division. This focus on high-stakes testing has resulted in many negative health concerns for many students. In 2016, Simpson quoted a school nurse and former board member of the National Association of School Nurses who spoke to the correlation that she had witnessed between the increase in anxiety-related complaints from students in connection to the increased emphasis in standardized testing. She goes on to detail that the symptoms exhibited by these students range anywhere from vomiting, headaches, sleep problems, depression, and attendance problems. Additionally, many educators have also expressed their concerns surrounding the high focus on standardized testing, as they feel that preparing for these tests is a large time commitment that many of their students can't afford to make. Echoing this sentiment, Simpson quoted a third grade teacher who says that prepping for these tests takes a lot of time. Instead of possibly doing projects and more hands-on learning, we really focus on testing format and preparing our students to be comfortable taking the test. The prepping starts at the beginning of the year and doesn't end until April. Therefore, not only is this heavy focus on standardized testing placing undue stress on the students, but it is also taking away from more experiential learning tasks that may have greater long-term benefits for these students. This can be very detrimental to the students, as although standardized testing is thought to be fair, as every student is taking the same test, however, many students struggle to perform in that kind of testing environment. Additionally, this kind of standardized testing does not account for things such as language deficiencies, learning disabilities, difficult home lives, or varying cultural knowledge, which extremely disadvantages those students, as pointed out in the effects of standardized testing on students and teachers. Because of this, we believe that more provinces should be approaching standardized testing in the same way that Saskatchewan and Manitoba have been, placing less of a focus on it in place of a variety of more hands-on learning and assessment. As discussed through our argument, we believe this because we believe that the negative impacts of placing such a high emphasis on standardized testing severely outweigh the positive impacts, and that it is unfair to put our students into such high-pressure testing environments from such a young age.